Hey everyone, welcome to the Westley Warriors Show. The aim of this program is to give us the opportunity to tell stories with one another and use them as tools of empowerment to confront hate and ignorance in our everyday lives. Please note that these stories are for entertainment and educational purposes only. These are not substitutes for professional legal, medical, or financial advice. Enjoy the show. Hello again. For my first episode, I have a close friend that I care about as a brother named Darren. I first met him on Reddit through a post in the NPD subreddit where he talked about a horrific college experience where a professor demonized his disorder during class and was asked to leave when he was treated badly for bringing up his condition. Darren reported the incident, leading to an investigation and the professor's eventual termination from the school. I reached out to Darren to be supportive and tell him that Professor is in the wrong and still is in the wrong, obviously, because who treats someone like that? We've become thick as thieves since. Through that friendship, Darren has shown me that those with narcissistic personality disorder can express empathy, but they have a different way of doing it. Thanks for being here tonight, bro.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Great to great that you're here as well. What better way to start off the Wesley Warriors show than the two of us?
Yeah, good to be here.
Please tell me more about the incident.
Yeah, so it happened a while, I think I'm guessing 4 years ago at this point. And basically my psychology teacher was just talking about cluster B personality disorders. And he was saying how how everyone with these disorders are like super toxic and you should like avoid them like the plague because they'll ruin your life and stuff. And then I spoke up about it and I said how that's not like totally true. And he asked me why I'm defending these people. And then I told him it's because I myself had a diagnosis of narcissistic personality disorder. And then he was basically like, oh, if that's true, then like don't come to my class anymore. Like, we don't need people like you here. And basically I just like filed a report to the college about that incident. And then about a week later, I received a message saying that he got terminated or they removed him from his position because his behavior was too unprofessional. And yeah, that's basically what happened.
It's a miracle. I At least they did something. I thought they weren't going to do anything at all.
Yeah, it's good they did.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Are you still in college?
Not currently. I think my last college class was 2 or 3 years ago. After that, I started doing another job training program, which I was looking to get like a engineering degree.
That's wonderful. I think we talked about that in our DMs on Instagram. So, for the most part, your career and education paths are a bit of a standstill. It's like a roller coaster that broke down halfway through the ride.
Yeah, that's true. Although I'm planning on like continuing it maybe in like half a year or so.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Rooting for you.
Yeah, I'm excited to start up again.
I'm glad. When were you first diagnosed with NPD?
I think it was back around in 2020 if I recall. It was like I think uh right after I graduated from high school somewhere around then.
Oh,
And I think my therapist just said he noticed that I showed strong signs of the disorder. And then after a further examination, I like checked off enough symptoms to meet a full diagnosis for it.
did your diagnosis surprise you?
Um it kind of did at first, but once I thought about it, I realized that it like I could see a lot of those signs in myself, and then it kind of helped me come to terms with my behavior, I guess, and my internal thought processes around the world.
That's great because I think by accepting your condition, you become not that I say happier, but rather it makes sense why you behave the way you do and why I behave the way I do. When I was diagnosed with autism, I think I was about two or three-ish, and I didn't speak until four, at least according to my mother.
Yeah, that's true. Like when you know you have a diagnosis, you definitely like it helps you come to terms with some of the behaviors and you can realize where it's coming from. Like, okay, this is why I'm thinking the way I am right now, or
It was harder for me when I got diagnosed with a seizure disorder.
with what was that?
Seizure disorder, aka epilepsy.
Oh, yeah, I have a few people in my family who have epilepsy as well. So I have some experience with that too.
Didn't change my life drastically, but changed it in a way where I take medication twice a day.
Yeah, I understand. And if I may ask, when was the last time you had a seizure?
Around last year, if I can remember correctly. Though I think one morning about a month ago, I what when I was still in bed, my body felt numb. I thought I was going to lose consciousness because that's how it happens before a seizure kicks in. But mostly through my willpower, I stayed conscious didn't uh, and didn't and didn't lose and didn't collapse. Sorry, I'm a little sorry. I'm a bit sorry. I'm not having trouble looking for the correct words to explain it because it's one of those incidents that I that's hard for me to put into words. The experience is indescribable.
Yeah, I mean it's good you haven't had one for a while though.
That's right. Each time I visit my neurologist, I often reassure her that I haven't had a seizure since, and if I did have a recent seizure, that I'm trying not to put too much pressure on myself.
Yeah. It hopefully you don't have any more soon.
Hope not. Was easier said than done when I was in college. Couldn't just take time off. I had to keep doing my schoolwork.
Did it happen more often back then?
About a few times. I remember one time I passed out in a computer lab and I woke up in the emergency room about a couple blocks from the school.
Oh wow, that's scary.
When I walked back to the lab when we had classes, the piece of my headphones was still in there.
Wow, yeah, that was in high school.
Nope, in college. I
Oh,
had to send buy new I had to send buy new earbuds.
yeah, I kind of had a similar experience one time where I passed out for a brief moment and then I had to go to the emergency room, but it's because I drank like too many energy drinks within a short period of time and it like briefly stopped my heart.
Ah, there you go. As scary as that is, I sometimes rely on an energy drink at work when I'm really, really tired.
Yeah, I don't that's like that's like the only time it's happened for me, but I think it's because I had like two or three within 30 minutes.
Yikes. Have you ever been bullied before?
Yeah, it happened quite a lot when I was in middle school. Like there was this one guy specifically who would always target me. And it wasn't just like verbally, it was also like physically. Like he would slam my head into lockers and stuff and beat me up when no one was looking. And I think that had like a large effect on me going forward because I was like a lot less confident. I was like a lot more shy and timid. And I think because of that, it led to me like not really having as much social opportunities during high school because I just like had no self-confidence at the time.
Oh,
So yeah, I definitely have quite a experience with that. And that's also probably kind of what led to my disorder because it just led to me feeling like a lot less confident and social. And I just felt like really insecure, especially when I was in high school, which even though I wasn't like bullied as much during high school, I still had like trouble fitting in just because I had no confidence at the time. So, yeah.
holy shit, man. I'm really sorry.
Yeah. What about you?
For me, there were days pretended to be something I wasn't. It was during a time where I didn't really, where I haven't fully figured out who I was, and there, and then since my schoolwork took up a lot of my since my schoolwork took up a lot of my time, and there wasn't, and because my schoolwork took up a lot of my time, I didn't really have okay, I'll phrase it differently. Since my schoolwork took up a lot of my time, didn't and I was so anxious about failing that I have felt like I haven't had a chance to befriend the people I wanted to and succeed in a way that made me feel good about myself.
Yeah. Did you have like a lot of did you have much experience with people like directly bullying you, or was it mostly that you just didn't really know how to fit in?
No, it was mostly external pressure. But again, sometimes it can be difficult for me to get a read on what people say and what people think. And since I started working in retail, I think I've either gotten better at it, or maybe I'm just too alert.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of relate to that feeling too, especially during high school, where I just like didn't really know what to say or like how to go up to people and start talking to them. I feel like I was probably a lot better at it during elementary school, but then all of that shit that happened in middle school, it kind of just like took away all my self-confidence and I was just like way more self-conscious and stuff. So I can definitely identify with that feeling of just like not really knowing how to fit in.
Two of a kind.
Yeah.
Okay, so while you were in college, you and another classmate got into modeling for a while. Got what made you interested in doing that, and how come you put it in the back burner?
Um Honestly, it was mostly for like validation reasons. I kind of signed up because I wanted like external validation that oh, I look good and stuff. And I mean the job opportunities like they do also sound kind of fun, but it was mostly for like the purpose of getting validation. Like that's pretty much the main reason I signed up for it.
Oh,
And the reason I haven't done it in a while is because for one thing, like a while ago, I started a new job program and I was out of town for pretty much the whole week and I would only come home on the weekends, but they wouldn't really do any events on the weekends. It was only like on the weekdays. So I didn't really have an opportunity to do anything with it then. And then after that, like I got involved in that whole accident where like my hair burned off and I had to spend like a month in the hospital. And I'm still waiting on getting some like reconstructive surgery done on top of my head. So that's another reason why.
Ah, I almost forgot you were still recovering from that. The validation thing makes sense too.
Yeah.
But I must but I must say you still look pretty good.
Oh, thanks, man.
Saying it as a friend.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
With all that in mind, what is your dream career choice?
Dream career choice, I'd probably say like an actor because I really like movies. Like, I'm a huge movie fan. And I just find like I just think it would be a really fun profession because you get to like meet other famous people. You get to be involved in all these big projects. And you also, I think it would be really cool to just like portray a different character and like put yourself in their shoes. And yeah, I just think that sounds like a really fun career overall.
That's pretty much how some of my friends and the actors I video chatted with during COVID got into the profession.
Yeah. They mostly did it because like they enjoy playing other characters.
I think for Jack Dylan Grazer it was his way of finding his place.
Yeah. I think was his was his first major acting performance in It.
That's what I recall.
Yeah. And that's also one of my favorite movies too. So it's really cool that you got to talk to him, especially with how many times that you did. Like I'm quite jealous of that.
When I'm in quarantine, I don't really get out much, and I live in the middle of the woods. Jack was doing video meet and greets an awful lot, so I took advantage of that.
Yeah, that's definitely cool. You gotta talk with him. And what's your favorite project that he's in?
This HBO series that he introduced me to called "We Are Who We Are," which portrays him as someone figuring out either his identity and sexuality. On top of that, he also meets a he also meets another person struggling with their identity, who was portrayed by an actress that I later booked on Cameo. She sang Taylor Swift's 15 to me because that's a song that came to mind when I watched the show.
Yeah, what's it called again?
We Are Who We Are. I don't know if it's still available on the platform, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. I think the only thing I've seen him in is It and also Shazam.
Ah, that's one movie I haven't seen that he's done.
Yeah.
I'm not proud of it.
But yeah, that's really cool that you got to talk with him.
Thanks. Moving back to you, how difficult or easy is it for you to maintain friendships?
I'd say overall it's a little bit difficult, mainly because I'm kind of always second guessing myself. Like I'm afraid of saying anything because I fear that people will think I'm like weird or and also because I have quite a lot of like negative experiences with friendships in the past, especially in high school where like people I was friends with like all of a sudden they didn't want to be like they thought I was annoying and they didn't want to be friends with me anymore. So it's kind of like when you experience all that, it kind of gives you like less of a desire to make friends anymore. And also because sometimes I just like, I don't know, like I don't really have a whole lot of interest in making friends unless if it like boosts my ego in some way, like they're giving me attention Like I kind of find it a little bit boring if I'm just like in a group of people and I'm not really the center of attention. So that's kind of also another reason why.
Ah, welcome to my world. What is one detail that you wish people knew about narcissistic personality disorder?
Um I wish that people know that like not all of us are just some like evil monsters or whatever, because a lot of people seem to portray us as like malicious people who just go out hurting people for the sake of it. But in reality, that's not actually true most of the time. Like a lot of us still can form like meaningful connections and friendships or whatever. It's just overall more difficult for us, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. And a lot of us are usually pretty passive, unless if you like really piss us off or whatever. But most of us aren't just going around like trying to hurt people for fun. That's just like a huge myth about it that the internet seems to portray, but it's not actually the case.
Yes, that's right. When I first went into the MPD subreddit, I told myself, go ahead, take a chance, talk to one of them. They can't hurt you.
Yeah, I mean, some people with the disorder are probably more extreme than others. Like, there's a form called malignant narcissist, and those people actually do like get off on hurting people for fun. But that's only like a small subset of people with the condition. Most people who have the disorder are just like, they just want some validation because they're like really insecure and they need it to feel good about themselves. But the majority of people with the condition definitely aren't just like these evil, sadistic people who just love tormenting people. Like that's just a huge myth on the internet, but it's not actually true in reality.
It's what I wish some psychologists on YouTube would look into, especially the one doctor who wrote a book that another YouTuber used for her video talking about her experience in an abusive relationship.
Yeah, and did they label it as like narcissistic abuse?
That's right. The title was exactly that.
Yeah, was the person actually like a narcissist, do you know? Or were they just like attributing it to narcissism, even though that wasn't the case?
It was mostly this YouTuber's ex-boyfriend that she was talking about, which brings me to my next question. What's the difference between narcissism as a characteristic and NPD?
Narcissism is a characteristic. So I'd say everyone has like a little bit of narcissism. Like everyone's a little bit full of themselves to an extent. Like everyone wants to be liked, everyone wants to be admired. But I think the difference is that with narcissistic personality disorder, it's far more pervasive to where like it causes like huge impairments in your life, like specifically with how you relate to the world and yourself. Because it's kind of like, okay, I don't just need to be, or I don't just want to be admired. It's like I need to be admired in order to feel good about myself. And there's also like, I feel a lot more like it's way more competitive, because I feel like most people, they're fine with just having maybe, I don't know, like they obviously want people to like them, but it's like they don't necessarily need to be seen as the best as something. Whereas if you have narcissistic personality disorder, it's kind of like, okay, I'm either at the very top or I'm at the bottom, and there's not really like any in between. So,
Right. Right. I can see how it can be hard to form meaningful friendships where people look where people with the disorder look at things in these extremes. But I think the important thing, at least for us, is that I recognize that, and it allows you to be yourself around me.
yeah, I mean, it definitely does make it a little bit more difficult. Specifically, like specifically if there's like a group of people, because you're constantly like monitoring the group, being like, okay, am I the most entertaining person in this group of people? Am I the least entertaining person? And it just kind of makes you like self-conscious all the time, because if you don't feel like you're at the very top of your game, then like being in a group of people can just feel kind of frustrating and uncomfortable. Like let's just say you're in a group of people and then everyone's like joking around, making each other laugh, and then you like try saying some, and then like you're like, oh, but you try thinking of something funny but nothing comes to mind, and you're just like, oh, like this is too much for me to take. Like if I'm not able to be like amusing like everyone else here, if everyone else is like more entertaining than me, then I don't really want to be in this group because it just makes me look inferior.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
So that's kind of another reason why like friendships are a little bit difficult, because unless you're at like the center of attention or something, it just it doesn't really interest you as much, I guess. That doesn't mean you can't enjoy social interactions at all. It's just like on average, we find it to be a little bit more boring or unfulfilling, unless if it's like feeding our ego in some way.
For me, it's if someone has the same interests as I do.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that as well. Like if I'm talking to someone and they enjoy the same kind of things as me, then it's definitely a lot more entertaining or just like fun to talk to them. But
Right.
if they're just talking about some like random thing that I have no clue, I'm just like, okay, like I don't really care to join in the interaction right now because I don't even know what they're saying. Like,
In a way, social media is like high school when you put it that way.
yeah, a little bit.
How do you deal with unbridled hate on social media?
Well, I don't really get that much hate on social media just for my disorder, because I usually stay off those sites where people just blindly hate on it. Because it's like, okay, if I read this, it's just gonna like there's no point in reading this because these people obviously they don't really know what they're talking about. They're uneducated. So there's not really any point to like paying attention to what these people are saying. And
I see.
I don't usually bring it up to people online either. So I haven't really experienced much direct hate for having the disorder.
That's terrible. What can be done to talk about abusive relationships without referring to them as narcissistic abuse and attributing it to cluster B disorders?
Yeah, I think people should just I think people should just like talk about abuse without assigning it to like a specific condition, because for some reason people always say like narcissistic abuse, but no one says like, oh, bipolar abuse or borderline abuse. It's always just narcissistic abuse for some reason, even if that isn't like really the main cause of it. And I just think this like further perpetrates the stigma surrounding it, because people think like all kinds of abuse is related to narcissism, even though it's not always the case.
That's
Because I think like plenty of people without narcissistic personality disorder and with other conditions can be equally as abusive. In fact, I think I read like one study once and it found that depression is the disorder that causes like the most amount of abuse to people. But nobody ever says things like, oh, like bipolar abuse or depression abuse. So I think people just shouldn't attribute the word abuse to a specific condition, because it just like further perpetrates stigma, and oftentimes like those people don't even really know what they're talking about. Like I've seen a lot of times where someone will label it narcissistic abuse even though like that person is just being a self-centered asshole and they're not necessarily a narcissist. Like one of my cousins was calling his brother-in-law a narcissist, even though he doesn't really sound like a narcissist to me. He just sounds like someone who kind of has anger issues.
Right, I can agree where you're coming from. I think that if someone does want to use the term, they have to really, really know what it means.
Yeah. But the problem is like 90% of people don't really know what it means.
We can blame influencers like Gabby Hanna for that.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I probably wouldn't have as much of a problem with it if they had the term abuse for like a bunch of different kinds of disorders, but it's like when they only say narcissistic abuse, it's like they're just singling out that disorder and nothing else.
Agreed. How important is self-care to you when we're bearing that in mind?
Self-care. Do you have like any specific examples of that?
How do you decompress from that exhaustion?
For me, I'll usually just try and like go on walks outside to take my mind off things. I've also noticed that like listening to music, specifically like certain kinds of music, like if I'm feeling really angry, I'll just put on some like aggressive songs and it helps like improve my mood.
Makes
Or
sense.
I'll just like, I don't know, try and do something that takes my mind off things like playing a game or whatever. And before I would sometimes like smoke, but I've kind of stopped doing that ever since the accident.
That's good. I'm glad that you quit.
Although sometimes I'll also do things like I don't know, if I'm feeling like really insecure, I might do things like I don't know, go to the strip club so I can get some like attention from girls.
I see. For me, I listen to the Avril Lavigne's Love Sucks album when I'm in a terrible mood when I'm in a terrible mood and I'm thinking about the toxic side of relationships,
Yeah, music can definitely help a lot, especially if you can relate to what they're saying.
especially in Bite Me.
Yeah.
Hey, you should have known better than to fuck with someone like me. Hey, you, forever and ever, you're gonna wish I was your husband. Should have held on, should have treated me right. I gave you one chance, you don't get it twice. Hey, you, and we'll be together never, so baby, you can bite me.
Yeah, like I made a angry music playlist on that I sometimes listen to and also like a depressed music playlist.
Awesome, good for you. Looks like that's all the questions I have. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on tonight, Darren.
Yeah, for sure. Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
Is there a dream celebrity you'd like to meet one day?
A specific celebrity?
Just one that comes to your mind.
Oh, that's kind of maybe Eminem, just
that'd
because
be
he's my favorite music artist,
that'd be badass.
and I've listened to his music for a long period of time. So maybe him.
Oh, goody.
What about you?
It used to be Miranda Cosgrove when I was in middle school and high school, but now Taylor Swift.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool.
Let's hope we can. Let's hope that will come true one day for either one of us.
Hopefully, yeah. I don't. He doesn't do concerts anymore, though.
Ah, that sucks.
Yeah. It would be cool to see him though.
Maybe it'll happen by chance
Yeah, you saw Taylor Swift, right?
at the Eras Tour at the Gillette Stadium in the pouring rain.
Yeah, I saw some family. I have some family members who've seen her multiple times as well.
I envy them.
Yeah. But do you have any other questions in mind?
No, I don't think so. And if I have any more, I can always just talk to you.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
sorry, go on.
I really enjoyed this interview. Thanks for having me on.
No problem, Darren. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on either this channel or my main channel. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Go.